Hi, and welcome to the next episode of Belly to Belly. And we're here today to talk about SelectUSA Investment Summit 2025 preparation. And we're with a great friend, Smith from Factum Global. How are you, Jeff?
Hi, Bill. How are you? Thanks for having me today.
It's great to have you. So we've got a lot of topics, but the first thing I want to talk about is you're moderating a panel that I'm thankful to be a part of at SelectUSA. It's on Tuesday the 13th at 2 p.m. We don't have a room yet, but that's okay. But can you tell me some of the themes about the panel? What do you want us? What do you want the audience to get out of it?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be on a panel with you and with two other really talented individuals. What we're going to be discussing are the understanding the key stages of growing and scaling a tech startup in the U.S. market, from initial market entry to long-term sustainability and scaling, which I know, Bill, you're going to be talking about. What's really interesting is participants will understand some of the common challenges that they face in coming to the U.S. market. And we have a member of the panel, as you know, Bill, Zeynep. She is the story. She's from Turkey. She's now a venture capitalist, and she has successfully entered the U.S. market and exited, and is now offering her advice to others on how they can do the same. So we hope that audience members will gain insights on developing their very tailored market entry strategy. I like to remind folks the U.S. is not really one country. I mean, obviously it is, but it's 50 countries in one. And so really understanding how to tailor your strategy to wherever you believe your business will succeed the most. And then you will talk about, how do you forge the right partnerships and networks so that you can scale. Look, expanding in the U.S. isn't just about landing your product. It's really about adapting to a complex, complicated, competitive environment and executing with precision.
I love it. That's going to be a blast. So, we certainly have a very active panel. Certainly, John with his accelerator background and where they exclusively work with international companies. I think he adds a lot of dimension as well. But so our audience are companies both that have already decided to come to SelectUSA, and also those that are still thinking about it. And part of why we do this is to create as much pre-connection as possible. So as companies arrive in Washington for SelectUSA, or in Maryland, where it properly is, that it won't be the first conversation with the resources they're looking to meet, that it's really, we're second and third level type conversations. So it would be great if you wouldn't mind spending a minute or two and talk about Factum Global and what you do to help companies expand in the U.S.
Absolutely. And Bill, thank you for doing this series of podcast episodes. It's really valuable, I think, for companies that are really eager to come to the U.S. for the summit. And to be able to connect with us, which I hope that I hear from folks once you publish this discussion, connect with people in advance so that over the course of the summit, we could meet in person while you're at the event. So Factum Global is a Washington, D.C. based international consulting firm. I'm speaking to you from the Northeast right now. We provide a one-stop solution for international companies entering a new market. So whether they're entering another country around the world or the U.S., we help them with market entry strategy, market research, and in-market support. So as a founder outside of the U.S., what better than to have a friend in the market where you're looking to grow? We use what's called an international readiness assessment to help many companies that maybe are not here yet, and they're concerned with, are they ready? So it's really an interesting objective assessment where you will have a greater understanding of whether your company is culturally, technologically, financially prepared to enter, because as you know, Bill, it takes a lot of time, a lot of, in some cases it's very expensive, and you want to really know that you're ready before you take the leap. We also have an in-market presence, which I mentioned, and a vast partner network around the US. So we could be your one-stop solution for things like a law firm or an accounting firm or a marketing agency if you're looking to grow inroads here.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you really, sounds like, assess or diagnose exactly what help the company needs or what their gaps are, and then make the connections and essentially drive the relationships so that the company grows successfully in whichever market.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. What we try to do is in the research and strategy phase, we really try to partner with executive teams so that they have as much data and information as possible before entering, so that they can really succeed, sustain, and scale. It's really about having your research and your roadmap and readiness, to be able to really, realize your dreams. I mean, there are 4 R's, right? To realize success in the U.S. market. So SelectUSA is really, and I know we'll speak about it now, a great venue for foreign companies that are exploring the U.S. or are already here and looking to grow and forge interesting and valuable partnerships. We're all under the same roof. And we're all, the ones that are here and based in the U.S. are receiving these companies with open arms to see how we can support them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you anticipated my next question. So with SelectUSA, you've been participating for a number of years. As you think about, and I think someone recently called it the World Cup of U.S. market expansion. And I guess what would be sort of the big reasons why an international company should come to SelectUSA?
Yeah, I like the World Cup analogy. I always think of like the United Nations also. It is, so SelectUSA isn't just about attracting investment. I mean, that's obviously really important. And in fact, if I can plug, I believe it's on Sunday. So our panel is Tuesday. On Sunday, there are sessions all about investment. And then once you get to Tuesday in our session, we'll try to tie it all together for you. We've attended for several years, and it's a unique platform. It's an ecosystem. So if you can picture one large venue, everyone is there, trying to connect. And this is why I mentioned the pre-arranging your meetings in advance is a really great thing to think about. You get to connect with investors, government officials, industry experts, folks like you and us, that could partner, that you can partner with and build strategic partnerships with. You have direct access to decision makers on both sides. So we do too, because the countries that participate, they send delegations, the best of the best, who are coming, to introduce whatever their products or services are. And then on the flip side, the founders and non-US companies are able to really learn the latest trends, and in particular regulations that might impact their market entry. So it's an ideal event for Factum Global to network with these companies and other stakeholders, and for us also to stay up to date on, the U.S. business landscape.
Oh, that makes so much sense. And, so think about the companies that are coming. As you said, some have already have a beachhead in the U.S., have customers and so on. Others, this is their first trip to the U.S. Right. What would you, in terms of getting the most out of the event, do you have any tips or suggestions for companies?
I certainly do. And one I just thought about, if it's your first trip to the US, add a couple days to your trip. SelectUSA is in the Washington, D.C. area. So, and I encountered an Italian executive who thought that they were in Washington, D.C. And in fact, you can see it on the horizon, but you are 20-minute drive from D.C., downtown D.C. So build in some extra time so that you can take full advantage of not only the beautiful city, but meeting with partners who are there. Meeting with maybe your local embassy, your local representatives that could help you, meeting with local U.S. state officials that may have a presence in D.C. To learn more about their incentives to grow your business in their states. So it's all about doing thorough research on the states, understanding the regional differences across the country. I mentioned earlier, it's 50 countries in one. Know where your try to figure out where your customers and competition are playing, and focus on the areas that make the most sense for your product or service. Another tip would be really leverage these networking opportunities. So there's enough time to build real relationships with potential partners or investors or government officials who are walking the halls of the summit. Ask them to have a cup of coffee. Go beyond the 5-minute handshake in the hallway and really get to know folks. Like other markets around the world, Americans would like to know who they're going to do business with as well. So I think in terms of the sessions, the ones on regulatory and legal issues are always ones that we attend because it changes so often, and we have a new administration in the United States, as you know, and so there will undoubtedly be sessions that will keep you up to speed on these developments. And then I'd say, finally, come with a clear value proposition and be ready to pitch your product or service to whomever you're meeting. That will intrigue them, and that will start a really meaningful conversation that hopefully goes beyond. And if I might add one more, when you go home, do your follow-ups. Because yes, it's a great couple of days in the DC area, but you want to continue this dialogue with the new friends, partners, and investors that you meet while you're at the summit.
Absolutely. That was so complete. That was just a perfect plan. The one thing I would, and I hadn't thought about this, but you had talked about sort of come a couple days early, stay a couple days late, and the DC area and whatnot. But the other advantage of DC for companies coming, I would think, is that invariably their country has an embassy in DC. So connecting with their commercial service team, their trade team in DC could also create some advantages or open some doors that they might not anticipate as well. But
absolutely,
some great advice for sure.
Great.
Well, thank you, Jeff. This has been really, really good. And I so appreciate it. Do you mind if I put your contact information in the description below?
Of course, absolutely. And I encourage viewers, listeners to reach out if there's anything that we can do to, even if you have questions about the summit itself, I'm happy to support you and your efforts. And I really hope that if you're on the fence about deciding whether or not to come. It's an investment worth making, and it will yield benefits undoubtedly.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I'm going to put also in the description the information for our panel discussion, and we're really look forward to seeing everybody there. But thank you again for taking the time today, Jeff.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me.